today we are going to learn about colors. We are going to learn about basics of editing using your mobile phones, what apps to use for editing using the mobile phones. So then we will be diving into filters, some photographic tricks, and we will be ending this workshop, 3-day workshop of our mobile photography. And then let's start. So one basic question, like 3 दिनों में आपके ध्यान में तो आया होगा, that we focus more on theory. So what is colors? Yeah, what are colors? Everyone in the chat box. What is a color or what are colors? Quickly, anything. What first pops up in your mind when you say the word color? Yes. Yes, anyone in the chat box, please. Am I audible? Say yes in the chat box. Chat is disabled. Chat is disabled. Just give me a minute. So can we please enable the chat?
Sir, I am trying to find where I can do.
Can you just make me host? I will also look.
Sir, sir. Done, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Now I guess I have enabled the chat. Please check now. I have enabled the chat. Yes. So now I am audible, visible. Chat is also enabled. So quickly, what is color? What is the first thing that pops out in your mind when we say color? Yes, everyone. Yes, Vibgyo. Vibgyo is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Color is the visual perception. Color is the visual perception, different focal length. Yes, yes. So color is something important when we refer to the world of photography. फोटोग्राफी में कलर्स के बहुत मायने, इवन इफ इट इज ब्लैक एंड वाइट, इवन इफ इट इज ब्लैक एंड white, even black and white is a color in photography, even black and white is a color. every color every color has some meaning, has some grace. Okay, so you can, what is photography? As we saw in the first session, photography is communicating with the help of images. Photography is communicating, passing on to a message with the help of images by clicking the memories. So when you have to convey this message, so you can see that color can be of great importance. Color can be of great importance. When we talk about designing, when we talk about editing, color is something which is very important. For instance, as we say, red color can determine hunger, it can determine fire, it can determine anger, as well as green and blue shades can determine more relaxed part, cool part. Okay, so color has some importance, what effect you have to create through your images. And in editing, color is of utmost important. As we said, photograph is made up of pixels. Okay, now each of these pixels, pixel is the squares in horizontal and vertical. It fills up your entire image into small indivisible part. Now these pixels determine some colors, when we talk about photography, when we talk about digital photos, okay, these photographs are made up of pixels, and these pixels contain only three colors, that is red, green and blue. This is what we say RGB. R stands for red, G stands for green and B stands for blue. Now whatever color you use, whether it can be a violet, it can be black, okay, it can be white, any color, okay, any color has to be made with the combination of these three colors, I'll take you back to your past. When were you were in play school in first, second, third standard, तो वहाँ पे पेंट क्लास में आप लोग अलग अलग कलर्स लेके you used to mix colors and create a newer color. Okay, in the same way photographic editing works on these three colors. Any and every color has to be in the form where red, green and blue are mixed. Okay, it can be 0%, as red is made by 100% of red, 0% of green, 0% of blue. Okay, so like this you have to make the combination work. I'll show you an example. This is one image, this is one image. Now what colors can you see in this image? Everyone in the chat box, what colors can you see in this image? Name the colors in the image. Yes. Yes, orange, green, blue, black, pink, white. Yes. So I'll just show you the colors. Black is there, blue is there, light blue is there. There are multiple shades of blue. Maroon is there, beach is there, pink is there. Here I can see in the highlights white is there. Okay, then a bit of brownish is there. Okay, here is the light green, faded green part. Okay, these are the colors. Now these entire color format, this entire color format is made up of three colors, as we can see. I'll select any one color. So this is the bluish part which we are referring. Here you can see the RGB bifurcation. I'll select one color here. Okay, now in this color, red is 49, G is 91, and B is 139. These are the values of colors mixed in such a way that this color is made. We will see for the pink, R is 211, G is 199, and blue is 223. Then this greenish color. So in photography you can see any color which I'll select, it has to be made with these three elements mixture of these three colors, these three colors. Yes, is this clear? In photography, what is the key takeaway from this? Photos are made up of, each and every color in a photograph is made up of three. In digital stream, when we talk about digital stream, it is made up with three colors. It is RGB, red, green and blue. Is that clear, everyone in the chat box? Everyone in the chat box, is this clear? Yes. Now each of these pixel contains some color value, along with the other data. Now all these color value combined together creates your image. Okay, now you know what is color, which colors are used in photographic world to create a digital image. Whenever you click a picture, your image has three color values, that is red, green and blue, RGB. This is clear? Okay, now there is one term called curves. Okay, now just like any image is made up of three colors, okay, those are in terms of colors. Okay, now when I talk about light, as we saw, photography is drawing with light. So when we compare this light and we divide it into a editing aspect, so for example, this is my image. Okay, now here the image, and when I talk about light, the image is divided into three elements. One are the whites, one are the blacks, and one is the midtones. Okay, when I talk about white, it is referred to as light, which we say as highlights in photographic terms, which we call as highlights in photographic terms. When I talk about black, when I talk about black, when you have light in one space, automatically there will be some shadows as well. Okay, so black referred to as shadows. Black refers to as shadows. Okay, so basically when we cut down three elements, first is highlight, then midtones, and then shadows. Okay, so curves work in the same way. Curves work in the same way. Curve is a tool in editing which we use, okay, to increase the shadows, to control shadows, lights, and midtones. Okay, so it can be somewhat, while editing a curve we will see the practical aspect of this as well. Okay, it's a straight line, it's a straight line. Okay, this determines your black, that is shadows. This determines your whites, that is highlights, and this center portion determines your midtones. This center portion determines your midtones. Now curves is a quick way to increase your brightness and shadows, to increase the brightness and shadows. That is, when you click a picture, as we saw yesterday, that whenever you are clicking a picture you have to set the exposure right. Okay, जो brightness part है, क्लिक करने के बाद में जो स्लाइडर आता है हम लोग ऊपर नीचे कर रहे थे, यहाँ EV ऑप्शन से हम लोग कम ज़्यादा कर रहे थे, यहाँ ISO ऑप्शन से हम लोग लाइट जो है वो कम ज़्यादा कर रहे थे. सो दैट वे is during photography. After photography, in post processing, the best way to control light is curves, is using curves. Curves is an option जो आपको एक photo editing app में मिलेगा. Any photo editing app, it can be Lightroom, it can be Snapseed. These two professional grade photo editing apps हम लोग आज देखेंगे practical में. So उसमें curves का option आता है. Curves में आप लोग एक्सपोजर सेट कर सकते हैं बेसिकली, जिसमें हाईलाइट, शैडोज एंड मिड टोन्स पे आप खेलते हो. वी प्ले इनटू हाईलाइट, शैडोज एंड मिड टोन्स. ओके, आई जस्ट गिव यू अ क्विक एग्जांपल. नाउ दिस इज फोटोशॉप. नाउ दिस फोटोशॉप इज यूज्ड in a PC module to edit photographs. In a PC module to edit photographs. Okay, I can quickly launch the curves over here. So this is the curves. Okay, this is the curves. So this is the highlight part, this is the shadows part. You can see the white colors determining the highlight, the black one determining the shadows. Okay, and this center portion is the midtones. So I'll have to arrange this curve in such a way that it is being rightly called as exposure intrinsic value. So the value of the exposure is very good. So I can just play with it. I'll just hold one click over here and I'll drag this towards the top to increase the highlight. This is to decrease the highlight. So you can see कि it will move in a curved way. It will move in a curved way, making the exposures right. Okay, so if I'll keep this a bit over here and then I'll play with the shadows. So you can see the blacks are gaining more. Here it's becoming light and here it's becoming more. Okay, so this center line is the default value. When you decrease the shadow, the blacks will increase, and when you increase the upper part, the highlights will increase. You can see this white portion is the highlight. Okay, so you'll have to make the exposure right so that the object is visible. So this is the correct exposure, so where the highlights are being controlled and no detail is being missing. Okay, I'll have to put some blackness. So the midtones, you can see the detailing, you can see the photograph. I'll just zoom in. So when I play with the midtones, you can see the details in the photograph. Okay, so you have to adjust this midtones in such a way that no detail has been lost in the photograph. So this is how the curves work. You can adjust the exposure in post processing in such a way that you cannot identify that it's an edited image. Okay, it will act as naturally as you are changing the controls of your camera. Okay, is this clear? Everyone in the chat box? Yes. Now we know what is curve, we know what is color. Okay, now some basic values, now some basic values which will come across in editing is exposure. I have explained everyone what is exposure. Exposure is nothing but the sensitivity to light, which is relevant to as ISO. So basically ये क्या करेगा? It will increase the highlights and reduce the shadows. However, you will adjust it. Okay, so that is exposure, यानी वो brightness कम ज़्यादा करने में आपकी help करेगा. Okay, second is lights or whites. Now what will lights and whites do? It will increase or decrease the highlights. Shadows or blacks. It will increase or decrease the shadows. It will increase the decrease the shadows. Okay, these are the three main basic values where we will be playing with the exposure. Okay, now other than this, even if the digital aspect is comprises of RGB, comprises of RGB, as it is digital, and the technology is advancing way too much in terms of colors. There are some application which give us control, to edit each and every color we see in the image. Like if you want the only blues to be highlighted, rest all the colors would be fainted. You can do that with the help of editing. So just give me 2 minutes. I'll just set up my mobile phone camera accordingly, and we will continue with the editing module. Just give me 2 minutes. Yes, my screen is visible to everyone. Is my screen visible to everyone? Yes. So quickly talking about the editing apps. So we will be seeing two apps. First is the Lightroom. Now Lightroom is a paid application. Snapseed is the free one. हम लोग Snapseed भी देखेंगे. But when it comes to photo editing, so Lightroom will give you more number of filters, more number of editing controls, and it's an industry used professional editing app. Okay, so just let me quickly grab one picture for you. This one. Okay, this is one photograph. So first, if you need to, I won't be going into the basics of framing. Okay, framing हम लोग ने पहले दो sessions में देखा है. So accordingly you can quickly just scale it down as required according to the frame you desire. Okay, for me it is the entire image. I don't have to crop, but you can crop it as well. Then you go into the edits. In the edit option, one of the quickest and easiest way is कि आपको auto का option मिलता है. When you click auto, it will automatically adjust the brightness and everything. But it is not so much appealing कि like बहुत बार बहुत सारे details जो है वो miss हो जाते हैं, because every image has its own properties. And it has to be according to you. So बहुत बार ऐसे होगा, it will happen कि you need more shadows, more light into the picture जो auto आपको नहीं दे पाएगा. So in this case you can click on first option, that is lights. Like मैंने इसको अभी थोड़ा edit करके रखा है, so I'll just hold it down. This is the non-edited original click, and this is the edited one. So इसमें हम लोग ने क्या क्या edit किया है. I have just raised the EV exposure value to 0.53%. okay, आप देख सकते हैं कि हम लोग अगर ज़्यादा बढ़ाएंगे तो it will hamper the image. Okay, so it has to be right this much. Then contrast, if you need more contrast you can just scale it up. You can use this slider towards the right. अगर आप लेके जाओगे तो वो वैल्यू बढ़ाएगा उसकी, एंड टुवर्ड्स द लेफ्ट लेके आओगे तो वो नेगेटिव में आएगा. एंड व्हेन इट्स इन द सेंटर इट विल बी एग्जैक्ट 0. इट विल बी हैम्पर नो चेंज. कॉन्ट्रास्ट को अगर हम माइनस में लेके जाएंगे तो कॉन्ट्रास्ट कम करेगा इमेज में से, एंड वैल्यू इन इंक्रीज. सी यू कैन सी द कलर्स, you can see that contrast increasing. This is less, and as I slide it towards the right this will increase. So I'll keep it somewhere near 20. Okay, now after this, as we said highlights. Now highlights, यहाँ पे बहुत सारा ये जो बल्ब है इमेज में ये बहुत ज़्यादा ग्लो कर रहा है. Okay, that is the highlight in the image, so we have to reduce it a bit so that it doesn't picks the eyes. Okay, shadows work reversely. अगर आप shadows को negative में लेके जाओगे तो shadows बढ़ेंगे. Okay, it increases the black color in the negative value, so it is different from highlights plus में ज़्यादा brightness देंगे. So shadows अगर आपको ज़्यादा रखने हैं तो आपको वैल्यू प्लस नहीं करना है, you have to move it towards the left. Okay, shadows and blacks रिवर्सली काम करते हैं, बिकॉज हम लोग को ब्लैक वैल्यू जो है वो बढ़ाना होता है, तो हम लोग को ब्लैक का वैल्यू जो है वो नेगेटिव में लेके जाना पड़ेगा. सो यू कैन सी द डिफरेंस. Okay, then whites as said works with as the highlights. When you increase it, the whites in the image, the highlight in the image will increase, and when you decrease it will decrease. इसमें you will see कि it is nothing different to as when we change the exposure. It is similar to the exposure. But कैसे होता है ना कि whites has some particular properties. Okay, so the editor tweaks that properties. Okay, it doesn't increases or decreases the brightness directly. Indirectly increasing and decreasing the whites in the image is the relevant action. So वो white increase and decrease करता है जिसकी वजह से ऐसे लगता है कि वो brightness ही कर रहा है, but actual में white colors वो increase and decrease करता है, light को increase and decrease करता है. Then we have the black, as said it works like shadows. Blacks जो है अगर आप negative value में रखोगे तो blacks बढ़ेंगे. You can see towards the sky. Okay, see towards the pulp, you will see the difference, and on the road. So I'll keep it decreased. Okay, this was the basic editing. अभी यहाँ पे एक कर्व का ऑप्शन दिया हुआ है. सो दिस इज द कर्व आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट, कि यहाँ पे हम लोग हाइलाइट्स कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं. यहाँ पे shadows, and this will be the midtones. So I'll keep this. Okay, so this is the curve. यहाँ पे curves जो है नीचे अगर आप देखोगे, so you have more options as well. You have the red color, green color and blue color. So ideally when you change these colors, when you change the curves of this color, so particular color पे effect होगा. But how this work, you'll have to go a bit into the color wheel. कलर व्हील में रेड के ऑपोजिट जो कलर रहेगा, रेड के ऑपोजिट जो कलर होगा, अगर आप रेड रिड्यूस करोगे तो वो कलर बढ़ेगा. सो रेड के ऑपोजिट में ब्लूज के शेड्स रहते हैं, ब्लूज एंड ग्रीन्स. सो व्हेन यू विल रिड्यूस द मिड टोन्स ऑफ द रेड, so it will automatically increase the midtones of the color opposite to the red in the color wheel. Okay, and when you will increase it, it will decrease the color which is opposite to the red. So it will increase the red part. Okay, so red and green until and unless कुछ particular photo में आपको enhance करना है, reduce करना है, उसके लिए आप use कर सकते हो. कलर पॉप आउट आप यहाँ से नहीं कर सकते, कलर पॉप आउट नहीं कर सकते, एंटायर इमेज पे काम करेगा, ये एंटायर इमेज पे काम करेगा. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू ग्रीन, ग्रीन बढ़ गया एंड ग्रीन के ऑपोजिट जो कलर व्हील होगा वो वायलेट होगा. सो इट्स बेटर नॉट टू फिजेट विद दीज. सो यहाँ पे इट विल गिव यू अ वार्मर लुक, ब्लू के अगेंस्ट येलो रहता है, एंड अगर आप ये बढ़ाओगे तो इट विल गिव यू अ कूलर लुक. सो दिस इज ideally working as the color temperature. These are the warm colors, this is the cool color. Okay, so for now I will not fidget with this. Okay, so this was the lights. After this we get the color palette. After this we get the color palette. Now here you can see the white balance. It can be auto, it can be custom. Custom and auto में अभी ज़्यादा फ़र्क नहीं आ रहा है, because while recording, while shooting this image, while clicking this image, वहाँ पे मैंने white balance का जो है वो ध्यान रखा था, इसलिए ज़्यादा फ़र्क नहीं आएगा. यहाँ पे आपको टेम्परेचर का एक ऑप्शन मिलेगा. नाउ व्हाट इज टेम्परेचर? व्हाट इज टेम्परेचर? मैंने पहले के सेशन में आई टोल्ड यू व्हाट इज टेम्परेचर. टेम्परेचर इज द कूल एंड वार्म कलर्स. कूलर इज bluish tone photos and warmer is yellowish tone photos. So when I reduce the temperature, you can see कि blue tones जो है वो बढ़ रहे हैं, and when I increase it says yellowish tones जो है वो बढ़ रहे हैं. So temperature works with the color. When you are doing photography professionally, So you can adjust this temperature in professional graded cameras and DSLRs, and it is denoted with white balance as Kelvin. So it is a Kelvin ranges this temperature from 0 to 1000, 0 to 10,000. Okay, the higher the temperature, higher the number, more warm colors you will be getting. Lower the temperature, more low colors. So 5000 के around 5200 is the ideal white balance when other things being equal. कि like बाकी के रूम टेम्परेचर में अगर कोई टंगस्टन लाइट या ब्लू लाइट आपने यूज़ नहीं किया है, नॉर्मल लाइट्स है, सो इन दैट नॉर्मल लाइट्स अराउंड 4000 से लेके 6000 के बीच में आपको आइडियल वाइट बैलेंस जो है वो मिलेगा. दैट इज़ वो टेम्परेचर आप यहाँ पे एडजस्ट कर सकते हो. व्हेन यू गो डाउन सो इट विल डिक्रीज द केल्विन. ओके, यहाँ पे अराउंड 200 का केल्विन होता है, यहाँ पे अराउंड 10,000 का केल्विन है. So it is the setting you get while using an professional graded camera. In mobile phones you can do it in post process. For now I'll keep it to 0 because मेरे image में ऐसा कोई message नहीं है as in such that I have to show warm or cool colors. Tint is कि you can give the image like earlier we had a photo filters like black and white. सो ब्लैक एंड वाइट के बाद में एक सिंगल कलर फोटोज आते हैं. ओके, नाउ सिंगल कलर फोटो यूजेस दिस टिंट टेक्नोलॉजी. इट कैन बी, आई कैन से वन फिल्टर नेम विच वाज मोर रिनाउंड. इट इज सेपिया. सो सेपिया हैज द ऑरेंज टिंट इन इट, रेड टिंट इन इट. सो दैट टिंट यू कैन यूज दिस. यहाँ पे ग्रीन एंड पिंक का आपको टिंट मिलता है. सो टुवर्ड्स द राइट यू विल गेट अ ग्रीन एंड टुवर्ड्स द लेफ्ट यू विल गेट अ towards the left you will get a green tint and towards the right you will get a pink tint. इसमें you can use this to adjust the white balance, while clicking the photo. जो blue आपके सामने था, and if there is some certain yellow light or something, so it makes a photo, the blue color in the photo appear to be a lighter shade or a darker shade. It depends upon the scenario you are clicking. So using this option you can tweak those scenario, okay, which was blue when you saw the image in actual, and after clicking it changed the color due to that external light. You can use these options to adjust the color in your image. Then vibrance is there. Vibrance and saturations work like it will enhance, it will pop out all the colors in your photograph. It will increase the saturation as the word says. So vibrance mein you can see a bit sharpness of colors is been increased, and when you reduce it, it goes back to being some faded image. Okay, so you can use this effect as well. ये faded image है. It also gives you some dramatic look. Okay, so if you have to convey some dramatic message through your photograph, you can use this vibrant. Same with the saturation. Saturation goes back to black and white and more popping out of the colors. Okay, then we have the effects. In effects panel, texture, clarity and dehaze. Texture, clarity and dehaze. Texture and clarity and dehaze, all these work towards the sharpness. Okay, it works on the principle of sharpness. So when you increase the texture, you will see that certain texture, leaves and everything are being sharpened. Okay, so that's how the texture works. When you reduce it, it will create some foggy effect. Okay, it will blur out the sharpness, it will reduce the sharpness. Clarity also works in the same way, but with the entire image. You can see that image is being sharpened. Now dehaze works with the edges. In the edges you can create the blacks and the whites. Okay, so dehaze is when you click a photo into the sun directly, or some external light is there right above your camera, so it will give you some light effect, and it will hamper the sharpness of the image. It will hamper the sharpness of the image. So in this case, increasing the dehaze will reduce that bright edges. जिस साइड से एक्सटर्नल सोर्स ऑफ लाइट आया है जहाँ पे फोटो खराब होते हैं, सो व्हेन यू इंक्रीज दिस dehaze, it will increase the sharpness of your image. Same with the vignette. Vignette is the white or a black border. You can see the black amount. You can see this white. Okay, if you need some dramatic effect, you want to give, you want to keep the focus towards your subject, you can use this and you can pop out the edges. Okay, here are the feathers and every settings which you can use. You can increase the feather, you can make it like oval shape, okay, as per your creativity. Then you have the gains. You can increase the gains in the image with this, so it will look as an HDR image. Okay, you can see the gains in the photograph. If you want to create some photographs which was clicked earlier 2000, so if you want to create that effect, you can use this gains, because earlier photographs have some gains in it, so you can use this. Now after effects, we have a detail tab where you can increase the sharpness. I'll just reduce the gains. Okay, in details you can increase the sharpness of the image. You can increase the radius. Radius is the point by which it will increase the sharpness. Okay, if you want to, if you have any mask, masking is something which will come in the next after later. So if you have any mask and you want to give the feather, then you can use this slider. Okay, same with the noise reduction. Now what does noise reduction do? When you click a photograph, okay, there is some noise in the color, there is some noise in the color, so you can reduce that noise and it will create a soft look when you are working with portraits. So there are some wrinkles, unwanted wrinkles. Okay, so this option, noise reduction, will smoothen those wrinkles in the image and it will give you a texture on the skin. So by this you can use that. Okay, that is the noise and color noise. In geometry you can use, like, if it's off scale, if the image is off scale, like you have tilted your camera phone, you have to make an image look straight. Okay, so you can straighten that image from here. Okay, I'll suggest you don't use this option until and unless it is way too much necessary. Okay, now coming back to masking. Now what is masking? Masking is when you edit a photograph, and you have to apply your effect on that particular part, or you want to ignore that particular part and apply the effect to rest of the image. So that is where masking is used. Like you can create a brush and you can paint it across. Okay, now I painted this portion in my image. Now this will apply the mask and I can change the exposure of that particular part only. Okay, now whatever effects I will apply, only that particular part where I have painted with the brush, only that part will be used to make the changes. Rest of the image will be same as it is. So this is all about Lightroom, okay, where you can make, this is the earlier image, original image, click, and this is the after edited part, original image after edited part. So these basic cropping, basic editing you can do. Now other thing that Lightroom gives us, is presets. Like there are number of presets. I'll take another picture. This. So this is the long exposure image taken. This is the long exposure image taken where the public is being exposed towards the light. So you will see that blurry effect with the people. Okay. Now I'll go to the presets, and there are multiple presets. I'll just have to click on them so you can see the changes. So it will apply the effects accordingly, and you can increase the transparency of the filter as well. If you'll go to 0, so it will make it original, and when you increase it, it will apply the preset. So here you can apply the preset. Like many time happens, like when you apply a filter and it is too strong, okay, so what you can do, you can click on the filter again, and you will decrease the opacity of the filter, so it will blend it with the original and the filtered image. It will give you another effect. Okay, so this is how the presets are in multiple, like you can see how many presets are there, 12, 10, so hundreds of presets are there. You can even use presets to black and white. See this is some kind of sepia effect which I was talking. It's a black and white image with a tint of pink. This is the black and white image with tint of green towards the left side of the filter. Meeting has been ended. एक मिनट ना, मीटिंग एंड हो गया उनका.